Hello everyone, welcome back to Chemcore Academy. In our last video, we have seen that how the particles of matter are arranged in different states of matter. Like we have seen that in solid state, the intermolecular space is less, and in liquid, that is bit more than solid but lesser than that of gas. And in case of gas, almost negligible force of attraction. Okay. So today we will discuss the properties of solid state, liquid state and gaseous state in depth and individually. Okay, so let's start. First we will see the properties of solid state. Okay, as you can see over here, it is a beaker that contains some solid things. Okay, you can see that the molecules in solid are very closely arranged. There is no space between them. Clear? And the intermolecular force of attraction between the particles is very high. That's why they are tightly bound. No gap, no space between the particles. Okay? See. Here are few characteristics of the solid state that is given. Solid state has definite shape, size and volume. This is very important. Solid state has, you can see, like the table you are seeing in front of your face, that has certain size, that has certain shape, that has certain volume, because that is solid. In case of solid, the particles are perfectly arranged or rigidly arranged. That's why solids always have definite shape and definite volume. Clear? They cannot be compressed easily. Why they can't be compressed easily? Because there is no space between the particles. How can be the particles compress more? Clear? If there will be some space, let's say sponge. आप लोगों ने तो स्पॉन्ज देखा होगा. स्पॉन्ज को जब भी हम स्क्वीज करते हैं वो थोड़ा कंप्रेस हो जाता है. क्यों? क्योंकि उसके अंदर पोर्स प्रेजेंट होता है, उसके अंदर गैप है. Okay, whatever that present have that contains some gap, that can be squeezed or compressed. Clear? So since there is no space between the particles of solid, so solids can't compress. Clear? Next point. Particles are closely packed by very strong force of attraction. This point we have already discussed several times, that the particles of solid are closely packed by strong force of attraction. These are highly rigid. Highly rigid means like they are highly dense. Their density is high. Next point is also written that high density. You people know that density is equal to mass upon volume, right? So in case of solid, this mass upon volume is high. That's why the density of solid is high. Okay. Next point. Less interparticle space. Obviously, if the interparticle force of attraction will be more, then the interparticle space will be less. Clear? Next point. High interparticle force. We have already discussed in this point. Next point. Particle only vibrate about their mean position. In case of solid, the particles vibrate, very small. Their vibration is very less, almost negligible के बराबर. Why? Because these particles are tightly bound with each other. There is no space between them. Okay, so how can be they vibrate? If there will be some space between them, then only they will be able to vibrate. Okay, so that's why the particles of solid only vibrate about their mean position and the vibration is very less. Clear? Till now clear? Next. Tightly packaging of particles in an orderly manner. You can see over here the particles are arranged in an ordered way. Okay, why ordered? Because each and every particle attract each other. They are having a very strong force of attraction. अगर attraction ज़्यादा होगा तो उनके अंदर क्या होगा, एक rigidity आएगा और टाइटली पैकेज एक दूसरे के साथ एकदम टाइटली बाउंड होंगे, ठीक है। That's why they have the tightly packaging of particles in an orderly manner. There is a specific order of particles inside the solid state. Clear? Now you will see the examples of solid state. It is stone, wood, ice cubes, your table, chair, notebook, pen, mobile phone, laptop, anything. These all are the examples of solid state. Clear? Okay. If you have any kind of doubt, please let me know in the comment section, okay? Next we will discuss about liquid state. See, in case of liquid, the particles are bit loosely bound. You can see over here that in case of liquid, there is some space between the particles. See, there is some space between the particles. They are not, connected to each other. They are not attached to each other. Clear? So you can say that whenever you try to dip a finger inside a glass of water, you will be able to dip your finger inside the water. But whenever you try to insert a finger like in your notebook or phone or laptop, anything, you can't, because there is no space between the particles in a solid state. But in case of liquid, there is space between the particles. Clear? Okay, let's start the characteristics. Liquid state, this does not have any fixed space, fixed shape. Liquid state do not have any fixed shape and size but definite volume. This is very important. It does not have any fixed shape. कोई fixed shape नहीं होता है liquid state का. आप लोगों ने देखा होगा, अगर हम पानी एक बीकर में लेंगे तो वो बीकर का shape वो कर लेगा, अपीयर कर लेगा. If we will put the water or fill the water inside a glass, it will obtain the shape of the glass. If we will fill the water inside a bucket, it will obtain the shape of the bucket. So basically liquid adopts the shape of the container. इसका खुद का कोई shape नहीं है, खुद का सिर्फ एक वॉल्यूम है. Like let's say I can say that 10 ml of water, but I can't say that the beaker size water, the glass size water. I can't say because there is no specific shape, but it has definite volume. Clear? Next, it can flow easily from one place to another. So these are called as fluids. Obviously, we have seen in case of solid state that there is no space between the particles and the particles are tightly bound because they have very strong force of attraction. But in case of liquid, the particles are loosely bound. Since the force is less, so they can move from one place to another. That's why the liquids can flow from easily from one place to another. So these are called as fluids. Clear? Next, they have lower density than solids but higher density than gases. This is very important. This have lower density than, I have already told you that density is equal to mass upon volume. See, if I will take this much volume of this beaker, okay, then I will see that the atom will be somehow like this, okay. But if I will take the same volume of the solid, then it will look like this because the particles are closely arranged. That's why the solids have more density than liquids. Clear? Basically एक सेम ही वॉल्यूम में ज़्यादा पार्टिकल्स होंगे सॉलिड में और कम पार्टिकल्स होंगे लिक्विड में और भी ज़्यादा कम पार्टिकल्स होंगे गैस में. तो इसीलिए गैस का सबसे कम होगा डेंसिटी, फिर लिक्विड का होगा और सबसे ज़्यादा सॉलिड का होगा. क्लियर? ओके, नेक्स्ट. The interparticle distance is more than that of the solids and less than that of the gases. I have already told this line before. The interparticle distance is more than that of solids and less than that of gases. Next, the force of attraction between the particles is weaker than that of solids but stronger than that of gases. We have already discussed this point several times. Clear? Next, particles possess more kinetic energy than that of solids, so they can move around freely but not as fast as in gases. I have already told you what does kinetic energy mean. Kinetic energy means kinetic energy is that energy which is possessed by a particle when the particle is in motion. Okay? So सॉलिड में हमने देखा कि पार्टिकल मूव ही नहीं करता है, पार्टिकल तो स्टेबल है, एकदम कंपोज्ड है, लाइक फिक्स है. बट इन केस ऑफ लिक्विड द पार्टिकल इज एबल टू मूव. Since it is able to move, it will possess kinetic energy. Clear? But it cannot move as fast as the particles in gaseous state. That's why the kinetic energy in liquid state is lesser than that of the gas. Clear? I think I am making sense, guys, but still, if you are having any kind of doubt, please drop in the comment section, okay? Next, examples of liquid are water, milk, oil, anything, okay? Juice, okay? So, this is all about the characteristic of properties of liquid state. Clear? Okay. Next. Next, we will discuss gaseous state. Okay? So as you can see over here, the particles in case of gaseous state are very lessly bound. Even the interparticle force of attraction is that much negligible. These particles can go out of the container. Okay? See, these neither have definite shape nor have definite volume. In case of solid, it has definite shape, definite size and definite volume. In case of liquid, liquid does not have any definite shape, but it has definite volume. In case of gas, it does not have any shape nor have definite volume. I can't say that 1 liter of gas or 1 gram of gas, nothing. There is no specific volume. Okay? The interparticle space is very large compared to solids and liquids. You can see over here, the space between two particles are very high, very high. They are far apart from each other, far apart. Almost there is no force, no interaction between these two particles. ये कोई भी किसी का दोस्त नहीं है, ठीक है, दोस्ती बहुत ही कम है, ठीक है. नेक्स्ट, almost negligible forces of attraction, so they can move and spread quickly. ऑलमोस्ट नेग्लिजिबल फोर्सेस ऑफ अट्रैक्शन. ऑब्वियसली अगर फोर्स कम होगा तो डिस्टेंस ज़्यादा होगा, डिस्टेंस ज़्यादा होगा तो इजीली फ्लो कर सकता है, ठीक है. दैट्स वाई इफ आवर मम puts a agarbatti at a corner of the room, then we can smell it from another room, right? This is the reason, because the particles of gas can flow from one room to another room very quickly and very easily. Okay? Gas, next point. Gas particles move in a random, that is zigzag manner. This is called as Brownian motion. See, let's say these are the gas particles, okay? Since there is no force of attraction between the particles of gas, so they can move in all directions, all directions. Okay, this is called as Brownian motion or zigzag motion. Clear? Next point. Expand to fill the entire container in which it is kept. You can see over here, the particles of gas filled whole of the container. Obviously, because since there is no force of attraction, no interaction, so definitely they just want to expand. They want to get out of the container, or they just want to spread. Okay, so this is all about the properties of solid state, liquid state and gaseous state in depth and very clearly. I think all the three properties make sense, guys, and you understood all this. सो ओके, मिलते हैं नेक्स्ट वीडियो में। प्लीज़ शेयर, सब्सक्राइब एंड कमेंट। बाय बाय।